Canelo did that.
I mean, there's a couple of rumors now. They're saying that the teams are already in preliminary talks to make the rematch happen sometime in May. But then there's also a little crazy rumor that just popped up this morning. They're saying they're talking possibly about Canelo versus McGregor. What do you think? Do you think that's even a good fight? Like,
I don't think so. I think McGregor should, do MMA, and he did very well against Mayweather. But Mayweather is a smaller guy. He's at 147. He's putting pressure on somebody like Conor, which walks around probably in the ring at like 175 or so. So if Canelo puts that pressure, he's not a counterpuncher, and Mayweather is a counterpuncher. He put pressure and he, hurt Conor a little bit. Canelo will be a different story. You'll hurt him more. He's an offensive fighter most of the time. So if he puts his offense on Conor, it'll be a short night, I believe. So I think he should.
Preparation-wise, as you said, he seemed to surprise you what he's able to do with Mayweather. But you have the experience training boxers, actual boxers, and then training MMA fighters for the MMA fighters. Do you think he should have took better preparations?
No, he did very well. He did very well. He was well prepared, and first time fighting 10 rounds. That's why you have 4 rounds, and then you have 6 rounds, then 8 rounds, then 10 rounds. So you could gain that experience, that confidence. Balancing the war, you gotta balance it. So he didn't have that balance. He went to 10 rounds, first time ever. He hasn't even done a 4-rounder. He goes to 10 rounds. So he did a hell of a job. I give a lot of credit to Conor, and he was looking good in there, keeping the ground, staying on the ground, not panicking, at times. Even though pressure a little bit, he wasn't dealing with it so well when Mayweather was coming in. That's why at the end he said, I made you look like a Mexican to Mayweather. Because Mayweather usually counterpunches unless he was fighting at 130, 35 pounds where he started from. He used to be the offensive fighter, and he had a lot of knockouts. Then started becoming more of a counterpuncher because he's fighting big boys, and you have to understand that as a trainer. So I think Conor did a hell of a job.
Could that training camp for boxing benefit him going back into MMA?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of confidence that he could box with the world's best, 10 rounds. Those guys in the cage don't have the timing and the feeling Conor does. Conor has very good timing. He has good vision. His legs are under him. He keeps the distance very well. He's very calm. He sees the shots, and he touches you with those 4-ounce gloves. It's a different story. It's not a boxing glove where Mayweather was taking all the shots on his arms and accepting the shots. You can't do that in an MMA match because the gloves are so small, and then he could switch it up to nice elbows and stuff too. So he wasn't doing that. But when Mayweather was coming in with his head a lot, putting the pressure, getting inside, he could always switch it into an elbow and hurt him. But he couldn't do that in a boxing match. So in the cage, he'll definitely have much more confidence now, I believe, fighting the guys.
If you were to lay down a bet and the fight between him and Nate is being rumored for December, if that were to go through, who would you favor? Would you favor Nate or would you favor McGregor?
Man, Nate's always dangerous for him. Nate's tall, long, good boxing skills because he has experience in boxing, trained boxing and sparred with a lot of good boxers. He has more experience than Conor does. Conor only sparred with Paulie. I mean, I sparred with Paulie when he was getting ready for a world title shot.
Yeah,
I sparred Paulie when
How many rounds total?
I did 4 rounds. His sparring partner didn't show up. He was doing training camp in my gym for his Shevchenko, Russian guy. He was fighting for the world title, for his 2nd world title. So I jumped in there, did 4 rounds when I wasn't in shape. Paulie's not a big puncher, so you could stay in there no problem. I boxed all my life. So but you have Nate sparred with a lot of, I heard he does sparring with Andre Ward and those guys, and he comes down and spars here in LA too with good boxers, and he's more experienced in boxing. So, southpaw, long arms, and so it's a good fight.
You spar Melanaji, obviously you follow boxing, you're a big boxing fan. You have McGregor. How interesting is it a matchup between McGregor and Paulie? It definitely has the storyline, they had their differences during the training camp.
Yeah, Paulie gets in good shape. That's a good fight, that's a good fight. That's more reasonable for, Conor to do than to go up against somebody like Canelo. But it's their choice. I think he should do MMA, and he's an MMA youth star, and that's his sport, and I think he should go back to that.